हरे कृष्णा। श्री श्री राधा माधव अष्ट सखी की जय। पंच तत्व भगवान की जय। नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय। हरे कृष्णा। वेरी warm welcome to everybody for this morning's japa yagna. So firstly, before I start, on behalf of my leader, I would like to thank all the Japa leads who came in and performed their service. We move on to the next part, which is always reading a verse of uh, Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's do a very short kirtan and move on. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachar Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hari. जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जयो अनंत देह लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जयो अनंत देव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 12, title The Birth of Emperor Parikshit. We are reading the 19th verse. If someone is free, they could repeat after me. Brahmano Vacha
ब्रह्मण उवाच
Partha Prajavita Sakshat
भर्ता प्रजापिता साक्षात्
Ikshvakureva Manavaha
इक्ष्वाकुर्इव मानवः
Brahmanya Satya Sandascha
ब्रह्मण्य सत्यसन्धश्च
Ramo Dasarathiryataha.
रामो दशरथिर्यथा।
Thank you, Prabhu. Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The learned Brahmana said, O son of Pratap, this child shall be exactly like King Ikshvaku, son of Manu, in maintaining all those who are born. And as for as for following the Brahminical principles, especially in being true to his promise, he will exactly be like Rama, the personality of Godhead, the son of Maharaj Dasharatha. So the purport is more than close to 3 pages. We will take that purport as and when we go through it. Okay. So let's tell the prayers before I even start saying any word, because only from the prayers of all the Vaishnavas and all my Guru and Guru Parampara can we talk anything from the subject such as Amala Purana. Om Ajnanamatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Udapata Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tan Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakharmitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutali Srimate Jaya Pataka Swami Nityananda Acharya Puraya Pataka Pradani Gauratam Nagara Dhamatarani Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Hare Krishna. Just give me a minute. I'll cut all the screens out. So, we know that we've been going through this wonderful chapter, birth of Emperor Parikshit. Now, what is this context where we are? Yudhishthira Maharaj had performed all the purificatory rituals after birth of Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, so after his birth, he also did what is a Jataka Samskara, okay, astrological calculations, how his birth life would be, how his life would be, how are the planetary positions based on which one could actually make out how this child will, how his life will span out. So this was the intention of Yudhishthira Maharaj. He wanted to know out of compassion, or like yesterday, our Gopal Krishna Prabhu mentioned, out of anxiety, out of anxiousness, eager to know how will this child do in life. Will he be a good devotee? Prabhupada uses a couple of words. Will he be a good devotee? Will he be happy? Will he be pious? Will he be well behaved, prosperous, and spiritually enlightened? Why this planetary positions is important? Because it will have a major effect on the child future, right? So nowadays, if you see, most parents are, have anxiety. What is their anxiety? How will the future of the child be? Will he do well in his studies? Of course, these days they worry about will he do well in sports also. Generally, there is no tension about will he be spiritually inclined, or will he be a pious child? I recollect His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj very nicely says, he says these days there are all the young children are cute little demons. Okay, only Maharaj can say that. Anyway, the point is the Chetana, the consciousness of the parents is very, very important. It's not great, right? So what happens? The child also obviously is born for them, will carry the same Chetana. Just yesterday, I recollect our leader, Madhurapati Madhusudan Prabhu was mentioning, the parents wanted the children to read Bhagavad Gita. When he asked him, how come you are coming? No, I have a cricket match to attend, or, to watch, or what, something like that, he said. So that is why it is important that the seeing the Jataka or writing down the Jataka Samskara is very important, because there are some mentions in that, karma, the Daivi, there are so many aspects, and small course corrections could be done knowing them. So, like our Gopal Krishna Karunadas yesterday mentioned, a very, very important, a very nice point. Yudhishthira Maharaj was in anxiety, right? How can he be such a great devotee? Dharmaraja, was he in anxiety? Was he in tension? No, his tension or his anxiety was, he knows exactly Parikshit Maharaj is born in such a lineage, right? He wanted to know how will this young boy do in future. Remember, this chapter is titled Birth of Emperor Parikshit, right? Not an ordinary boy, not from a normal family. Usually, parents are worried about what, like I said, will he get a good job? Will he go to America? Will he become an NRI? That is his, here his worry was different. His thing was, how will he knew that the Kuru Vamsha had to flourish. So, this was a great anxiety situation. He had called many Brahmanas. He's sitting with them and he's asking them, you please do all the astrological calculations, making the Jataka for the emperor. It may look very normal, but Yudhishthira Maharaj was in great anxiety. Actually, after Prabhuji mentioned yesterday, I was, very interested to know how such a great devotee can be anxiety. So for that, if you really go through a little bit of Mahabharata, right, we'll understand why is this chinta, why is this anxiety for Yudhishthira Maharaj. Then we'll get on to the subject. Just a few minutes. So before 3-4 generations in the Kuru Vamsha, there were many instances which created the doubt in the Kuru Vamsha whether it will survive or not. Remember, Kurus were ruling the entire world from Hastinapur, right? So the entire rules of Dharma were maintained from Hastinapur and spread all across the world. We can hear and read about them in the narrations by the Pandavas. So it is very important that the king has to be a bhakta and a very dharmic person. What you all know what happened. Emperor Ashoka changed to Buddhism and how he spread Buddhist teachings throughout. So absolutely important for a king to be dharmic. And if you see, actually Krishna did the entire war. The Mahabharata war was only because what? Only because he wanted to establish, only and only because he wanted to establish the bhakta as a king and who will toe the lines of dharma. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking, oh, 4 generations. Huh? All these troubles were there. Srila Prabhupada uses a word, couple of verses back. Yeah, it's a 10th verse. Paryai That is he was observing. Prabhupada says he was observing. Who was observing? Parikshit Maharaj. The child was always searching for something. Right from his birth, he was searching. What was he? Whom was he searching? We all know he was looking for the personality whom he saw in the womb of the mother. That is why he is called Parikshit, to observe. He was always investigating. He was always looking around. So, in the very next verse, in the 11th verse, right? Yeah, in the 11th, 12th verse, there is assurance. Okay, there is an assurance that this child will be like Pandu in prowessness. So the actual process had started right from the 13th verse, right? Yudhishthira Maharaj started asking all those questions to the Brahmanas. How will the child do? What will he achieve? The main question was, will he uphold the Vamsha? Okay, what will he live? Will he carry this dynasty? What will he live? What a name he'll create, right? So, to understand, way back in Hastinapur, right? How did this shift happen? There was one king named from the Chaidi dynasty, Vasu, right? He was made the king none other than Devata Indra, right? He had to come down and throne. Now, why did Indra come down and do all this? Because actually in the lineage, if you see, there was one by name Pradipa. He had to become the king. But that was the time around when Parashuram was there, right? So the avatar. So he was, Vyasdev mentions that during the ruling of Parashuram, everything was so perfect. It was like a Satya Yoga, right? There was no enmity, there was nothing adharmic. Then, so King Pradeep thought that what is my duty here? I have no role to play. See, he simply renounced where his saffron went to the forest. Now, I was telling you, Indra had to come down and see that this lineage was continuing. Why? Because Vyasdev mentions in the Mahabharata that this King Pradipa, right? What he thought was there would be no danger for the Praja and there would be no enemies because Lord Parashuram was ruling. But what he forgot or what he did not know was there were certain demons going to be born who are going to come and disturb the earth and want to start the Kali Yuga, right? So this particular lineage, the Chaidi, right, as I was saying, Vasu, there was a son going to be born. He was called Viprajita, right? And he was going to become the king post Vasu's tenure. So something had to be done. Just before this also, you all know this, Satyavati and Shantanu got married. Their 2 sons was born, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya, right? Now, you all know that Chitrangada was challenged by Gandharva. He died too. Vichitravirya also got married. Ambika and all that from the Magadha kingdom. And just after a couple of years, about 7, 8 years, he had this very different disease in Ayurveda. Now, what can be called a tuberculosis. He also expired. Now, Satyapati then had to, summon Bhishmadev and tell him, look, I had an legitimate child, who's Vyasadeva. Please call him, progenate, so that this Vamsha can continue. Then you all know what happened. Dhritarashtra was born, Pandu. Even Dhritarashtra was born blind, right? Uh, and we all know what Pandu had a problem right from the birth, skin disease, and he was also cursed. Later went to the forest, he too died. Now, there was this 5 children. Now, who was the king? He was again blind. Now, Dhritarashtra's son, you know who it was? He was Duryodhana. Now, he had pure demonic qualities. Now Krishna had to, create a complete war. Why? Because the Kuru Vamsha had died. Why? Ashwatthama had killed even the young Pandavas, Elam Pandavas, right? There was no hope. Suddenly from there, Uttara said, she was carrying. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj knew that the Vamsha will continue. Again, Ashwatthama, what did he do? He tried the Brahmastra. Because he also knew this is the only descendant of Kuru. Krishna personally had to come, take an avatar as a wonderful child, protected this, this child. Now, Ashwatthama was thinking that he wanted to make this world Pandava Mukt, like they say, no, what Congress Mukt Bharat or BJP Mukt Bharat, like that. He wanted to Kuru Amsha Mukt, right? But that was not possible. Now, Parikshit Maharaj was born. That is why there was so much anxiety for keeping all the above instances in the mind. The king, the Yudhishthira Maharaj was very, very anxious. Will this child be qualified? Will he be a dull boy? Would he be an asura? Does he have any curse along with his birth? And that is why he had summoned all the Brahmanas and called and asked them to write the Chataka Samsara. Right? How will he be emperor? What he will he take care of the praja? Look at what Yudhishthira Maharaj's concern was. Right? So they were doing all the calculations, making sure all the planetary positions were noted down, and they were giving Yudhishthira Maharaj an assurance. Right? That was the situation context. Now let's get into today's verses. Today's verse. How poetic it is, right? Giving references to 3 wonderful personalities. First, Yudhishthira Maharaj's reference, oh son of Pratha, right? Who is doing the Jataka Samskara? The famous son of Kunti Maharani. Then the reference is King Ikshwaku, son of Manu. Then there is reference of Bhagavan, Lord Ram, right? Son of Dasharatha Maharaj. Okay, how if someone says this is not poetic, what else is? Look at the comparison, look at the assurance the Brahmanas are giving. Why is it so? Because they are also aware that Yudhishthira Maharaj is not going to stay. Once he comes to know Supreme Lord Krishna has left Hastinapur, he will also leave the kingdom. That is why Brahmanas are giving Yudhishthira Maharaj, don't worry. We give you the confidence. He is going to lead the praja very well. He is going to protect your lineage wonderfully, right? Unlike you see in the modern days, right? Yudhishthira Maharaj was not assuming, oh, anyway, Parikshit Maharaj is going to become the king, and he can, no, he was still concerned. He was wanted to know whether he had the qualifications to be the emperor. Very, very important point. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj then can give up the kingdom confidently. See, what is Raja's first duty is his praja. Prajayate. Whoever takes birth, whether it is human, whether it's an animal, that person has to protect the Raja has to protect the praja. Raja and praja, right? Not just citizen. In today's world, probably a citizen means the easiest definition is the citizen, somebody who can vote, right? That is why, I mean, they vote and that person goes and he forgets them. And another person, we again vote. Now, that is not how we see Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj wanted to even go and protect a cow, right? Wonderful qualities. One important one is protect all the prajas, and the other being, he is a Satyanishta. He was a honest person, right? These are Kshatriya Guna. Protection of all prajas is definitely a Kshatriya Guna. And what do you say? I mean, look at the comparison they're giving, like Rama, right? He will say, Pran na jaye, na vachan na jaye, whatever. He is known as Maryada Purush Ram. Such a comparison the Brahmanas are giving. Right? So here we are not talking about a Kshatriya or, not about this Varnashra system. We are discussing about what I think Tugopika was talking about this. Mahabhagavat. We are talking about a Bhakta. We are talking about a Vaishnava. They had all the qualities of a Devata, right? Because remember, all the demigods' qualities are there in a Bhakta. Huh? If you're a pure devotee, how these good qualities manifest? Please don't think I become a devotee, it automatically comes. Yes, it automatically comes, but because of the mercy of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, right? Remember when the Bhishma Dev was in bed of arrows, we saw in that particular chapter wonderfully all the Vaishnavas explained us each verses. Even then, when at the bed of arrows, when he was in so much of difficulty, what was he referring to when he met the Pandavas? He said, "Oh, how many?" Moment he saw Yudhishthira, he was like, "Oh, Yudhishthira, you're always going through anxiety, you're always going through tension, right? How much you had to go through, right? How Yudhishthira Maharaj, he showed the compassion by feeling bad for them, right? So many can even say that how come this Pandavas being such a great devotees, very dear to Krishna, how did they go through all this? Many of the normal public have this doubt, but only devotees, only bhaktas can understand. This is all because Supreme Lord is giving an example, setting an example to the rest of the world, right? What is Supreme Lord's game plan? Game plan or the only goal of Supreme Lord is that how can I take this bhakta away from the struggling world, right? So we have to run closer to the Lord to enable Him to lift us up, not the other way around. In the moment there is a reversal, we turn the back and say, "Arey, I have been a devotee, I chanted so much, nothing, all these people are telling lies." No, the Lord every time creates so many situations and sees whether the devotee is coming closer to me. And so that if you come closer, he can easily lift us up. No matter what happens, we need to stay attracted towards the Lord. Only by his mercy, we are put into situations. So, such an irony. It's actually true. Only because of His mercy, we are put into such situations. Now, do we have the time? Yeah. So, we'll look at another aspect since we are talking about mercy and being put into little difficult situations. We always have this, very common word. I mean, I need to be in comfortable situation. I need to be peaceful, Prabhuji. Whenever we meet a new devotee and we tell them, why don't you chant? He says, no, I have still some problems going around. The moment I finish this, the moment I get a job, the moment I finish my degree, I'll then sit down. I will then very good do good bhakti. Some people even I have been talking to them after got a good job. I don't know. It's been 10 years shortly. Now he's going to retire. Now he's saying after retirement I'll do bhakti and very good japa. Now remember, when your bank balance is full, when your life family is full with all satisfactory needs in your house, and when your stomach is full, you will never think of Lord, especially when your stomach is full. In the morning when we do in the Mangalarati time, when we do japa, it is so beautiful. All of us have experience here. We have about 30-40 devotees here. Ask them how it was in the afternoon or evening. Somehow the mala, we have to pull the sakshi beads. We have to just complete 16. Everybody will say that, right? So remember, stomach full, bank balance full, no assurance. You can never do bhakti. Anyway, still some people think that I have to look at a comfortable situation, but a bhakta does not look at comfortable situations. He loves to be in what uncomfortable or discomfortable situations. Why? Because if we keep doing bhakti in a very comfortable situation, that means we are in Maya. Right? If you think that, no, Prabhuji, I want to preach, but around my house, I want my people to come to me, right? I'm trying my best. Even if you ask them some service, can you give me only within where I can do from my house? This is not WFM. What these days people have this work from home. Service is not service from home. It is actually service away from home. It is the opposite of work from home, right? You cannot say, I will do my preaching within my place. Huh? I heard a Vaishnava saying very beautifully. I heard one class in which that Vaishnava was telling our life should be like, we have done this kite flying in our younger days, right? So you imagine once the kite flies high, if you think that I'll keep on releasing the thread, that will go very high and far. No. When you keep releasing it, actually the kite falls down. The more you pull it tight, the more you pull the string tight, the kite actually goes up higher and higher. Now, this is where it's an important aspect. Prabhujis and Matajis, please listen very carefully. We need not hold the string, just simply give the string to the Guru. He will keep pulling it, right? As and when he keeps pulling it and making it tighter and tighter, it can get a little uncomfortable for us, right? It may be out of your comfort zone. That moment he pulls, the kite goes high. That way he ensures he takes us up high, high, and then directly up to Goloka. Now, we need to be in out of our comfort zone and in the larger plan, maybe a small part in the larger plan of Guru's service to Srila Prabhupada, that way finally ensuring that we follow the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, we can take the example of Srila Prabhupada. We can see that he was when he was in Vrindavan, he could have quietly stayed, he could have performed his bhakti. He took up the service of going to the Western world. Why? Because it was Guru's order. It was his instruction. He left Vrindavan. Imagine, he was begging for money. Okay, imagine begging for a ticket to go to America, begging for a cargo ship ticket. Imagine an businessman, industrialist family. In fact, they were sometimes funding Gaudiya Mutts from that position, begging. Why? Because he wanted to get out of the comfort zone. Okay. Once you are in the line of Guru, plan of Guru, you might have some discomfort. Obviously, when you have discomfort, you'll start taking more shelter of Krishna. When things go a little up and down, when there is stagnancy in life, then be sure it's everything is smooth, means we are in Maya. Maya has already entered our lives. Srila Prabhupada was begging for ticket. Imagine heart attack while traveling. Then completed all the tasks in Western world, opening so many temples. He could have stopped there. He came back to India. Remember, that was not his Guru's plan, but he came because he said, I want to do more seva for my Guru. In the end, towards the end, doctor had warned him, you cannot roam. He was still in bed, but he said, I am going to still give lectures. I'm going to still preaching till my end of life. So, what do we learn from Srila Prabhupada's life, our Guru Maharaj's life? What do we learn from Pandava's life? We should not desire for a comfortable Krishna conscious life. Never desire this, right? It is huge Maya. Rather desire, I should be in the lines of Guru's instruction, how my life can be a small part in Guru's plan. Obviously, we are going to be in anxiety. No doubt about that. It is, just ask all those people who perform Janmashtami, Varaha Kripa Mahadas, in Ganga Heights they did, right? Then in Horamau, in Yelanka, ask the devotees whether it was easy. Imagine 2,000 plus visitors are coming, so much needs to be planned. There will be anxiety, right? But if it is as a part of Guru's plan, then we know Krishna is there with us. The entire Guru Parampara is there with us. We know our dear leader has sent a mail to Guru Maharaj taking his blessings even before the function even before we do celebrations. That means we get the comfort. Okay. Now, that is a different comfort, not the comfort in the comfort zone which I am telling. So we can know that if you are in the shelter of Guru, then we are Krishna is with you. So we can probably draw up a page. Comfort means Maya. Anxiety means Krishna. Okay. Please don't misunderstand. It is not a panic situation. It is a stretch situation. If we are not in panic zone, we are in stretch zone. So that is why Yudhishthira Maharaj was in great anxiety. Okay. He was in great anxiety that this child has to be continuing the lineage. And this was the only child coming from this Guru. Okay. He knew that his anxiety means that he was in Krishna conscious. Okay. Of course, their purport talks about Maharaj Ikshvaku, Manu, and a lot of details about Rama. I would humbly request people to read through for all that details. But these were the lines which I wanted to, um, I understood from this verse. If I have made any, if I missed out a few points, please feel free to add them. And if I made any mistakes in all those data, which I actually read a couple of chapters from Mahabharata, please pardon me. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Patit Pavan Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very wonderful class. So we will wait for the participants if they have any
Yes.
questions or realizations or add-ons. All the devotees
Yes.
kindly participate yourself
Hare Krishna
in the
Prabhu.
Bhagavatam class. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So
1 minute, Mataji. Let
Prabhuji
me,
has
I have my volume very low. Let me increase. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yeah, now, yes, Mataji. Malini
Yes,
Krishna
yes.
Mataji.
You told that never desire for a comfortable KC life. So here you told you come out from this is a stretch zone or a stress zone. You told us stretch or stress zone.
Stretch, that one. It was a stretch zone. Stretch yourself more
Yeah,
than,
stress. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
stretch.
a nice one.
Yeah, because
Nice.
what happens is how we usually stretch, we stretch only within our comfort. Actually, that I meant stretch zone means do more than what is possible for you, right? Guru Maharaj, normally what does he say? He simply doubles your count, right? If you have done 5,000 deep dan, try and do 10,000, he says. That means it's stretch. Well, while hearing, nobody likes the double target, but that is what Guru expects from us. And he has already blessed us. We are just going to perform that.
Yes, Prabhu.
That's what I
Very
meant.
nice, Prabhu. Actually, that we are afraid to be uncomfortable zone.
Yes, Mataji. That is what I was trying to say. The moment we have anxiety, which means we are in Krishna consciousness. Anxiety, good anxiety. I didn't mean panic anxiety. Good means we know, or it's how are we going to do? It's going to rain. I don't know whether devotees will come. Janmashtami, how will it go through? We have. It's nice to have that anxiety, but at the same time, when we are there, what will happen is we'll depend more on Krishna. Oh Krishna, I can't do anything. Only you are to help me. We'll depend more on our leaders' prayers. We'll depend more on all the Guru Parampara's blessings. That is what I meant, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Very nice, Prabhu. Actually.
Spiritual anxiety. Thank you,
Mm.
Gopal Krishna Prabhu. Actually, your point only helped me to think on that lines. Yesterday, your realization prompted me to think, why is that such great devotees have anxiety? That is how I kind of taught this line and heard some classes. Prabhu. I hope it was correct and not missed any point.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes, Sugopika Mataji.
Prabhu, thank you for such a wonderful class, especially like the kite analogy you gave as to how we have to give the string to the Guru. So I like that point. I have a question, Prabhu.
Yes.
You mentioned telling that Yudhishthir Maharaj was he was in anxiety, so he did the Jataka Samaskar. But Prabhupada tells that we don't have to depend upon this astrology, and it is a part of it, but we don't have to majorly depend on it. So how do we understand that, Prabhu?
Correct, Mataji. Thank you for asking this question. What you said is true. We don't have to depend on it, but this is a part of the samskara which is there. So, to writing a jataka is very important. Even now, if you see, even in towards a wedding of any particular devotees, they say you have to first match that. Even His Holiness Banaswami Maharaj recommends that first the horoscopes have to match. That is just to give the basic guidelines. I heard somewhere, I think it was Banu Maharaj once said that how much you are dependent on Krishna, what percentage you are dependent on Krishna, that much percentage it won't affect you. If you are dependent 20% on the horoscope and all other 20% surrender to Krishna, the other things will have an 80% effect on you. Whereas if you have surrendered to Krishna 80% and 20% or 10%, you want to just see whether everything is fine, it'll have an effect on you only that much. So, as a part of the samskara, these were there. But do we totally depend on that? Yes, that is what probably Srila Prabhupada meant. I would request Mathurapati Prabhu to throw in here if I'm wrong, Prabhu.
Yeah, you are right, Prabhu.
Okay.
You are right. And samskara has to take place.
Yes.
And but how much we are dependent on Krishna, that means how much service we are doing. This is to be taken into account first. So yeah, samskara is actually it is a purification, and it has to take place. And even as Prabhu rightly said, as Bansa Maharaj, he gives the rating. According to the rating only we are supposed to go. See, some time back what happened when even the devotee, their horoscope did not match, but they got married. But later that Mataji left the body, or young in age, leaving the children. So this is what we have to follow. This is very scientific.
Yes.
So this is what approved by Srila Prabhupada. Okay. So
Yes,
we
Prabhu.
cannot bypass the
We cannot.
horoscope, not only for marriage,
Hmm.
but for everything. That's why Yudhishthir Maharaj is very much worried what would happen to my grandson.
Yes.
Then it is a natural tendency. Similarly, Guru also he naturally worries about his disciples and grand disciples. And most importantly, they should not deviate the principles and the promises which they committed at the time of initiation in the Yajna Kunda. Otherwise, it would affect the Guru. That's what our Guru Maharaj is actually suffering. Most of the devotees, they are not, some devotees, they are not following. And this is directly, indirectly, is affecting a Guru, any Guru. Okay.
Thank you. In fact, one such situation we had asked, it was actually his your godbrother, His Holiness His Grace Premtata Prabhu had asked that his house was some south facing and on the Vastu aspect. So how beautifully Manu Maharaj demolished it. You're a devotee. Let it be southeast, northwest, any facing, no problem. Krishna is there in your house. It doesn't affect a devotee. But he said, yes, for those who do not, it will have an effect on them. So it was just not just horoscope, like Prabhu said, it's all scientific. And he's such a great, as you know, in Vastu also, the entire Chennai temple was designed based on that. Yes. Any other
For a
additions?
devotee,
Yes.
no Vastu.
No Vastu.
So everything is possible for him.
Yes.
Like best example is Udupi.
Yes.
Udupi
He's changed.
Krishna. Lord himself, turned towards the devotee, Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And also you nicely said, Prabhu, about the anxiety and how Yudhishthir Maharaj is worrying. And the same way, your leaders also here, they are also worrying. They are also thinking about your spiritual welfare. So you need to give your cooperation and you should collectively serve.
Yes.
Okay, anybody else? Prabhu is still there.
Very quickly.
He's waiting. So all the participants, please come on the video. The time is up and it's time for winding up. I'm requesting everyone to come on the video.
Hare Krishna.
And also, I request Radha Sugopika Mataji, you kindly give their names of Bhagavatam speaker. I wanted to know. So it's not sector wise, don't put sector. Even Vrajanath Prabhu, you give
Yes.
who is going to speak, I wanted to know.
Yeah. There was
Please mention individual responsibility. They are
yes.
supposed their names have to be mentioned.
In our sector, we have two people who go to school and one person goes to office. So they both names if I give, and then if they are not there, I didn't want it to affect the class. So that is why I've two are the permanent speakers. Me and Radha are the only people who are who do not have any office pressure. So that is why we have made sector. If you want it that way, we'll make a change, Prabhu.
Yeah, better give the individual names so that.
But I hope you're okay if there is a change last minute, Prabhu, because Vijita Mataji today were not available even for the morning sessions. Same with Asha Mataji. She's trying her best to be there next week. So if you're okay with that, I'm fine. I'll continue that.
Better
Like,
give with the individual names. They will also feel responsible. And all the Bhagavatam speakers for all the days, Sunday to Saturday, if you are comfortable, please you can go ahead. If you are busy, if you are engaged or some emergency, may come. It's natural. And please let me know. If anybody is not going to give Bhagavatam class, immediately post in the group so that it can be taken by another devotee. So that my point is Bhagavatam flow will keep on going. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And it should not be affected. Very nice to see all of you. Over to Vrajanath Prabhu.
yes.
So,
So if Prabhu recording can stop, we will.
yes, yes.